Come on, Rockfin. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If she want to get freaky only on the weekend, it's none of your business.
Oh yeah, that's what's up. Salt and Peppa, hugest fan ever.
Really?
Ever.
I didn't know that.
Oh, I know words to every single one of their songs. I even have a t-shirt I had on yesterday.
What? That is so
Oh,
cool.
I played Shoop
Okay.
at my wedding.
For real?
Yes.
Here I go. Here I go. Here I go.
Here I
Oh
go
my God.
again, girl. What's my weakness, man? Okay,
Man.
then chilling, minding my business. I took a look around and I couldn't. Okay, I'll stop.
I love it. This is great. Welcome to the Jaybefaunt channel. My name is James Fauntleroy. It's so good to see all of you here today. Just to let you guys know, the Jaybefaunt channel is available on all major podcast platforms like Anchor, Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Subscribe to me there. Part of the Revolutionary Blackout as well. You can find me on the JB Show on Sundays at 1, RBN Live on Tuesdays at 4, and the Sabby and JB Show on Thursdays at 6. Just to let you guys know, I want to say a big, huge thank you to all the patrons on Patreon and Coffee who continuously keep me up, because if it wasn't for y'all, I would not be able to do it. And a special thank you to all of the new members. Also, thank you to Pachico Ron. Pachico Ron has become a JB member. Thank you so very much, Pachico Ron, for becoming a member. So give everybody a 1, 2, 3 for Pachico Ron. Thank you so much. Also, JM, who is also a JB member. Thank you for the super sticker so much. Oh my gosh. Look, you know I had to put Savage in big, bold letters for this show. I'm a savage, classy, bougie, ratchet. Ow. I'm sorry.
This is what you guys get. Like, if you watch any of our old shows together, this is what it is. It's us breaking into impromptu song and stuff, because that's my head all day long. So I love when someone joins in with me.
Oh man, the same here. Like, okay, let me ask you this before we get started. Do you have an inner monologue going on all the time?
Oh my gosh, yes. Absolutely.
Sometimes my inner monologue sounds like certain people. Sometimes it sounds like Rome.
I'm like an inner Rome. I'd be down with that.
Inner Rome in your head. Like, who is this motherfucker think you talking to? Like,
I'll come out like,
I would love it.
Yo, I'm going to give the babies diapers. Like, yes, Rome. It'll be like Ghost. Like, he'll just like consume me. And I'll be like, hi, I'm Rome today.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool yet creepy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Rome. So love you, Rome. So, to anybody that's watching, if you don't know who Joy is a commentator, activist, advocate for so many different things. She's an activist and advocate for disability rights. She's an activist and advocate for healthcare as well. This is literally your first time on my channel, so I am very humbled to have you.
Yeah, I've been on RBN many, many times, and you've been on mine many times, but this is the first time I've been on this. So yes, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you. So, look, first, thank you so much for the super chat. It said, VA from NY says, Savage Joy tells the truth. Thanks, JB. Thank you so much well. I appreciate that. And hey, everybody, I'll get to you guys chats in a second. But when it comes to the activism of Medicare for all, you were an integral part of the marches for Medicare for All last year, which I attended, which I was privileged to attend. Over 50, it was what, 54 cities, I think it was?
56. Yeah.
56 cities. Okay. 56 cities held across the nation. Hundreds and hundreds of people attended. And I was at the one here in Orlando. And you also held another one this year in Washington, D.C.
In DC. Yep.
And your what is the okay, let's start off with this. What is the purpose for people who don't know? What is the purpose for the March for Medicare for All, first off?
Well, there's a few things, but when we started, we actually started 6 months before we had the 56 actions on
Uh-huh.
July 28th.
Okay.
So within 6 months, we had
Mhm.
56 cities.
Mhm.
And that was also due to people contacting us in other cities. Can we be added? Can we be added? And there were only 12 of us. So it was a
Mhm.
lot to do, and very overwhelming, which is why we were like, let's just do one this year and make it a
I got you.
action. So
Mhm.
we were in DC for 5 days. But I digress. M for All really is, it started as let's do something different. Every single one of us is 100% volunteer. None of
Mhm.
us make a dime. None of us have ever made a dime. We all actually spend money trying to, get things going. And do certain actions. But it took on a life of its own. It was really just supposed to be one march in
Yeah.
DC, and
Mhm.
people kept reaching out, and it just became another, and we were just so thankful. I mean, we had hundreds of speakers, we had thousands and thousands of attendees. We had, wonderful stories. Our mission has always been about the individual stories of people. It's
Mhm.
not just, a lot of people are, very much like, let me get this big name and that big name. I mean, we're very, appreciative to people like Susan Sarandon and Marianne Williamson, who very much strongly support us. Um,
Mhm.
but our main thing is let's hear from you guys. Let's hear from those who are hurting. And that's
Yeah.
always been our focus. That's always been the
Yeah.
people we want to talk to the most.
Mhm. Yeah. And that was, something that I I I reflect the same sentiment. Okay. So one of the things that I typically say is the people who are the most disenfranchised should be the ones that lead the movements. The
Yep.
reason being is because the people who are very comfortable, they don't have or share the same sense of urgency that you or I have. So while you're sitting here being drowned in medical bills, you have some people go, well, we just need to wait a little bit longer. And people like yourself and me and many others are saying, we don't have time. People's lives are literally at stake while you sit there and hammering about waiting. And so I just wanted to, put that out there that, I appreciate that, you're leading the charge on actions like this. So I just want to thank you.
Thank you so much. And I mean, our team is, made up of LGBTQ people, people of color, disabled people, people who are on Medicaid with horrible medical problems and in and out of
Mhm.
the hospital. I mean, our
Mhm.
team is all volunteers, and they are people
Yeah.
who are living this shit. And we
Mhm.
were adamant from day one, these
Mhm.
are the people we want to reflect what we're doing, because we're fighting for marginalized communities who are
Mm-hmm.
affected more than anyone else. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, everyone should know that by now. If you're a person of color or poor, or person of color and poor, you are being affected by lack of healthcare or insufficient healthcare more than any other person.
Mm-hmm. So there's some factoids that you have on the site that I have up. It says 68,000 lives would be saved each year if every American had health care. Um, and that's for typically for the people who are uninsured, right? But when you count the people who are underinsured, how much is that?
Well, it's over 100,000.
Yeah.
Because you have right now we're at 40 million people. 40 million people are uninsured, and then dozens of millions of underinsured.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, during the pandemic, we and I'm not saying it's people died from COVID or like I'm just saying the past 3 years there's been
Mm-hmm.
over 250,000 each
Mm-hmm.
year for the past 3 years who could have survived if they had health care.
Yeah.
So that number is exponentially growing. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one person dying is enough, but I mean, a lot of us say healthcare is a human right. And
Mm-hmm.
is it? I mean,
Yeah.
is it?
Mm-hmm.
It should be.
Yeah. And so the next part it says 200,000 Americans wouldn't have to file for medical bankruptcy each year.
And a lot of people, I get, when I get very frustrated. I mean, I'm 100% cancel student debt, like without question. I used to work for federal student loan for the state Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I am
Mm-hmm.
so empathetic and I supported 1,000,000%. But it was getting to me that nobody ever talks about medical debt. It's always student debt. So I would make posts like, can you please talk about medical debt even half as much as you talk about student debt?
Mm-hmm.
Because medical debt is directly killing people, like murdering people. And
Mm-hmm.
I got pushback like, well, at least you can um, file bankruptcy for medical debt. That's a very privileged take, first of all. That I do not appreciate. Nina Turner was one of the people who said that, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not okay with it. And number one, you can only file bankruptcy once every 7 years. So,
Mm-hmm.
what you are saying is, and it's a long process, and you need a lawyer, which costs money, and
Mm-hmm.
all this shit. So, you're already telling people, oh, well, just come up with more money anyway. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what happens in the next 7 years? They
Mm-hmm.
still aren't going to go to the doctor because they don't want to file for medical bankruptcy again. They're still not going to go to the hospital. They're
Mm-hmm.
still not going to take their medications. So
Mm-hmm.
that's not just, I think, I want people to understand it's not like we'll file bankruptcy. It's
Mm-hmm.
not, it's not that easy. Where do we
Yeah.
go from tomorrow? That's the point.
Yeah.
Um, and that's why I'm a huge fighter for medical debt cancellation, and we could get more into that with the
Mm-hmm.
legislation I'm working on with my team and
Mm-hmm.
Joe and Bernie.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why it's so important, because if we get Medicare for all tomorrow, cool. What about all of us with the thousands and thousands? It's
Mm-hmm.
not retroactive,
Yeah.
so it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely its own beast.
Yeah. Thank you for the super chat, VA for I think it's Virginia from New York. It says the Democratic Party is fighting to fracture the Medicare for All movement. Don't fall for their narrative. Thank you so much for that.
Absolutely. And
Um,
Biden is trying to privatize Medicare. They're pushing
mhm,
Medicare Advantage. So many elderly people, disabled people are
mhm,
going to die so much more than they already are,
mhm. Yeah.
because Medicare has many flaws right now. And when we
Mhm,
say Medicare for all, we don't mean the same. We mean national improved Medicare for all, which is much more enhanced and much more favorable. But Medicare itself has flaws. So you take that and then you make it privatized.
Oh boy.
People are gonna die. Like, it's gonna be bad. And we need to think about the disabled and the elderly, because they're gonna be the first to be affected by all this shit.
Of course. So one of the things that I want to bring out is, and people, don't know this about me, but I actually read Bernie's Medicare for All bill that he created for the Senate. I read the entire thing. It was dry as hell, but I made sure I read it.
I did too.
I read the entire thing. It was, oh my, look, it was like having dry mouth from medication while eating saltine crackers trying to whistle, girl. I'm telling you, that's how bad it was. But I needed to know, because I needed to know what it involved. And just to let people know, when we talk about Medicare for All, typical Medicare, which is what I have, means that when it comes to your bills, they only cover up to 80% of your bills, right? On top of that, it does not include vision, dental, auditory, long-term care, things like that. So when it comes to giving the explanation of what actual Medicare for All is, it is a comprehensive single payer healthcare system that pays 100%, no deductibles, no premiums, no copays. Your medications are capped at $200 per year. Now, per month, per year, that works out to about $16 a month. Okay.
And that includes insulin.
That includes insulin. And also, when the Medicare for All, it includes dental, hearing, vision, and long-term care. And it basically makes private insurance obsolete. So that a single payer healthcare system is. And so, and when it comes to how you pay for it, it is you get paid, you get taxed at 4% above $29,000. So anybody who makes above 29,000 gets taxed 4%. Instead of paying all these private taxes of all these private taxes, of copays, deductibles, and premiums, you pay only just 4% above. So the more you make, the more you pay in. Anybody who makes under 29,000 doesn't pay anything at all. Basically, meaning you're getting free healthcare if you make under $29,000 a year. That was in Bernie's bill. Okay. Now, I will say this: as a socialist, for me, Medicare for All is not far enough, but it's still a step in the right direction.
Correct.
So I am the person that says, nationalize the shit. All of it. That's what I say. Including medical device manufacturers, including clinics, including hospitals, including gyms, including including
naturalized, homeopathic, massages, everything.
Also including nursing homes, all of it. Because the thing is that even when you have a single payer healthcare system, some of these companies, they want to still, milk as much as they can from the government, which and it doesn't even go to the actual people it's supposed to go to. It doesn't go to the people, the nurses, the techs, the physicians, the people who work in the offices. It doesn't go towards the people the therapists, the physical therapists, and all these people who actually do the work in these areas. It goes towards the shareholders, and it goes to the people at the top. So that's the thing that I want. But definitely Medicare for all is still definitely a step in the right direction, and it's a and it's a substantial step in the right direction. And so this is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this. Now, the next, did I explain everything correctly, Boy?
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay, that's all from the top of my head. So,
And I think, well, no, I know all of us are, at Friend for All, and everyone we interact with is fully on board for NHS. For sure. Yeah. This is the compromise as far as the United States goes.
Yeah. So $450 billion would be saved each year on healthcare costs.
Yeah.
That is a massive amount of money that we could save in order to really just how many people could it actually help? People don't ask that question.
So I mean, you're literally you're saving money and you're saving lives. Like, what is the downside? The downside is people losing profit. That's the only downside.
Oh,
I feel so bad for them.
Oh, by the way, on your website you have some mugshots of some CEOs.
Sure do.
Okay, so CEO David Cordani, annual compensation is $19 million. He is with Cigna. CEO Greg Adams, annual compensation is $9 million. He's with Kaiser Permanente. CEO Kim Heck, compensation is $7 million. She's with Blue Cross and Blue Shield. So these are some of the people where they are the middlemen and women who basically are making money, telling you what you can and can't have as far as your healthcare is concerned. This is the death panel.
Yes.
Right, Joy?
Firing squad.
This is the literal death panel that we're looking at. And am I being hyperbolic?
No, I mean, this is the insurance industrial complex. That's what this is.
Because the thing is that what is the purpose for insurance to do? I mean, from what I know, these medical insurance companies, their purpose is to, just in case something happens, it's supposed to be for, well, they pay, the doctors and the hospitals and, everybody that's necessary in order for you to have healthcare. But what they do is they are extremely tight-fisted and they deny care each and every time so that money that you paid into that system goes straight into their pockets as well as the pockets of the shareholders.
Absolutely. And that's why I got fired from a few of my jobs, because I worked in healthcare for over a decade. And when I worked in pre-authorization, I just pushed all that shit right through and I got caught. And then my other one, I worked for Medicare for over 3 years and they would deny for stupid shit. And these elderly and disabled people would send in their appeals with like copies of their $25 water bill and say, I don't know which to choose. And I would just push that damn appeal right through. And I got caught and fired for that job too. But I mean, I don't care. Like, yeah, it sucked. But the only reason I kept doing those jobs was to just, I knew nobody else was going to do it. So I was like, fuck it. I'll keep doing it until I get caught. I don't fucking care. And I lasted over 3 years at the one job. So I probably saved a couple hundred people, probably a couple thousand at that point.
Nice.
But I mean, if you have a conscience, you cannot work in those jobs. I mean, I'd come home crying every day. I mean, it's just awful. It's just absolutely awful. And think about like you and I have to go to the emergency room and the hospital and stuff a lot, unfortunately. But like, think about like going to the ER and going there and you wait there for like 5 hours. And a lot of times it's because they're checking your insurance, they're calling your doctor, they're making sure this is covered, how much your copay is, all this shit. You go in free at the point of service, you get your shit taken care of, you fucking leave. That will free up so much time, even thinking about it that way, all the time we waste sitting at the doctor's offices and all that shit because everything needs to be checked and shit. You don't have to worry about that anymore. You go in, hi, my name is Joy. Cool, they'll be with you in 5 minutes. You're done. Like,
yeah. You know what, Joy? I'm going to tell you this. You ever seen the movie The Incredibles?
No.
Oh, no?
No, I've heard of it.
Oh, my God. Okay. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but there's a part where one of the main characters, Mr. Incredible, he's actually working at an insurance agency.
Oh.
And so his boss comes in. He's this little Weasley looking guy. And he was mad at him for authorizing, different compensations for different people. And so there was an old woman that comes into his cubicle. And he's like, I'm sorry, but we cannot approve your claim. And all the legalese speak that he was saying. And she goes, you can't approve my claim? But she goes, but I'm on a fixed income. And if you can't help me, I don't know what I will do. And she starts crying. And so he looks at her with these sympathetic eyes. He looks up from his cubicle around the office, right? And he looks everywhere. And he goes, I'd like to help. I'd like to tell you to go to Norma Wilcox. He's like, Norma Wilcox, and he spells out her name on this floor. And I would like to tell you that we are unable to do. And then he gives all her the information. And she's like, oh, and she's writing it down.
Oh my God.
Look, this is an amazing movie. It's so good. And then once she gives her all the information, he's like, I'd like to help, but I'm sorry I can't. And she's like, oh, thank you. He's like, shh, shh, shh. And he's like, oh, act like you're crying when you leave. She's like, acting like she's crying. And he gets mad because he's like, we're supposed to help people. And so when you're telling me about you're making the approvals for people in healthcare, you reminded me of Mr. Incredible, of basically being like, oh, you're in a tight spot. All right, let me help you out there for a second. Just don't tell him I did it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna hook you, like, Nana, I'm gonna hook you up. So that's what I appreciate. And so thank you for that story. It's really good. Yeah. So Incredibles is a great movie. It's one.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, it's literally one of my favorite movies from Disney, even though Disney is a big, huge multinational corporation that treats people like crap. I like their content though, but that goes without saying. So in the March for Medicare All Fall website, which I'm sharing again, this is under the United Nations tab. So under here, it says healthcare is a human right. I'm going to read the blurb here. It says March for Medicare for All is joined by the All Unions Committee for Single Payer Healthcare, National Lawyers Guild, International Committee, National Single Payer, Physicians for a National Health Program, Poor People's Campaign, Real Progressives, and Students for a National Health Program, and filing for human rights complaint with the United Nations Human Rights Council against the United States government for gross violations of the right to healthcare in this country. Wow, Joy. Wow.
Pretty powerful shit. It's never been done in history. So
you going into the Dragon's Lair.
We're putting that shit on record. The United States doesn't give a crap about us. We're watching eugenics of the poor, and they're just sitting there counting their dollars. And what's going to happen is when we go there, and I'll be going to New York, to where the UN is. And when we present it to them, it's going to be interesting because they have to accept it. And we have these fantasies about, like, we're contacting people in other countries because we want them to shame our country. We want them to look at our complaint and say, wow, looking at this written out like this is egregious. This is an abomination. And we've already had, people in UK, and Colombia, just, saying it's disgusting. You guys have to do this, but we're full on board. And it's going to be fascinating to watch other countries call our country out for being so inhumane. And, I just, like, I have this fantasy of, like, Joe Biden being like, well, and just, like, freaking out because, like, even Putin's telling him he's a piece of shit for not getting up there. Like,
it's funny because it's true.
Yes. And I mean, people, I think the main question we get asked is, why do you trust the UN? We don't trust the UN. We don't. We do trust the fact that we were putting this shit on record and that it's never been done before in our history. And hopefully it'll set a precedent for other activists to file for other things, so that at the very least, it is part of history in marking down, tangibles. This is what we're going through. And, we are collecting stories, testimonials as evidence. People who have lost a loved one due to lack of health care or insufficient medical bankruptcy, medical bills, loss of insurance through loss of a job, all kinds of, testimonials coming in that we're submitting these videos and written statements as evidence. And they're going to have to review these things. So this is, it is our chance to actually be listened to. Doesn't mean that we're going to get Medicare for all tomorrow. We're realistic. But it does mean that we are holding our government accountable. And to truly do that as a whole, this is the only way.
Yeah. And just as a point of reference, because many people will probably say, well, Medicare for all, is that really possible? I would argue yes, because there is precedent. In Section 1881A of the Social Security Act, it actually gives the president the power to give full health care to citizens in a given area during an emergency. In Libby, Montana, that actually happened, where they actually all got universal health care. So it is actually within Biden's power to give everyone universal health care. And people would ask, well, what's the emergency? A pandemic is an emergency.
Yeah, that's how it started.
I'm getting close to the camera because I want y'all to see my eyeballs. A pandemic is an emergency. So guess what? Section 1881A of the Social Security Act should have been enacted way back in February or March of 2020, but it wasn't. Why? Because who gets money from these healthcare industries? Joy?
Politicians.
Oh, yeah! Politicians.
Yep.
The P-titians. They get the money. Did I just say the P-titians? Oh, well, whatever. But
yeah, and the reason why it even started in Libby, Montana was because they had asbestos in their air. So it's making people sick. So they couldn't keep up, and they enacted, they wrote this bill, 1881A, and then it gave everyone health care. Well, that was 4 years ago. They still have it. So it's not like it was a temporary thing or anything like that. So because of the pandemic, which is something environmental that was making people sick or is making people sick, Biden could have absolutely enacted 1881A with the flick of a pen.
Yep. And yet, so many people died. And I think it was I think studies have shown if we actually had universal health care in this country, I think we would have saved at least 300,000 lives from C-19.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yep, it was raised to 300,000. It's actually, it'd be more than that, probably 400,000, because it's 1/3 of people who have died.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, I lost family members to C-19. So I lost, I think I lost four family members. So the thing is that it hits home for me, right? And it hits home for so many people because this could have been prevented. You know, this was needless. And the fact that this is the richest country in the history of the world and we don't have a universal healthcare system. What does that say about us? Joy?
I think it says profit over people. I think it says as a country we lack empathy. I think it says our priorities are completely fucked, and our billions going to Ukraine are literally paying for their healthcare. There are articles breaking down what our money is going towards, and we are paying for their healthcare. We care more about imperialism than we do the betterment of our people. I think a lot of people in our country wait until something happens to them or someone they know before they start caring. I'm ashamed. I am absolutely ashamed when I hear these stories of people who say, I grew up in Switzerland and I had this and that done and it was free. Why isn't your country doing that? And I'm just ashamed. I don't know why I know why, but it's like, it's so embarrassing. It's like, because our country doesn't care. They just don't care.
Yeah. And, there's been videos upon videos coming out of people being shocked. Like, for instance, there was a video of people who were being questioned. They were in the UK and they were being questioned how much different procedures cost. And one woman was shocked that it costs, I think it's $14,000 to have a baby. She's like 14,000 to have a baby. Are you
and
kidding
then they
me?
told her, she's like $60 to hold the baby, and she's like, that's mad to hold a baby. You have to pay to hold a baby. That is mad. It was, that 5-minute video we've shown that on all of our specials and stuff. I mean, it just says everything right there. I mean, it just says it all.
Yeah. So you're this
Oh, you were cutting out.
Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Okay, good. All right. Can you still hear me? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So, the blurb continues, says, we need your help. If you are interested in sharing a story about the denial of the right to health care, please keep in mind this should be a personal story. Healthcare includes medical, dental, vision, hearing, mental health, reproductive health, pharmaceuticals, gender related health, medical and assistive devices, long term home and assistive care, alternative medicine, and more. And then you talk about doing video recording, voice recording, writing a story, or doing an interview.
Yes. Yeah, we definitely need to hear from people, especially people of marginalized communities, people who are disabled, people, you know, I, you guys, our job is to be a voice for the voiceless. That's our job. But this is
Mhm.
also an opportunity for you to, I mean, to be heard, but also because it feels so good to just speak your mind. It feels so good.
Yeah.
It's cathartic just to
It
let it
is.
out.
Yeah,
But I
we do
will
it every
tell you,
day.
I will tell you, if you guys send us videos like fuck the Democrats and stuff, we agree, but we can't use that.
Yeah.
So stick to your your stories. We need it as evidence. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, ideally, I'd be like, yeah, let's all send, fuck Pelosi and stuff, but it's
Mm,
we can't use that,
yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah. And I would give a suggestion to keep the the four-letter words to a very small minimum, at least
Yeah,
if you
for
can,
sure.
because they may end up just like not wanting to hear it because, oh, this person said a curse word and blah blah. Don't give them any reason to just like toss
Yeah.
you out. But yeah, that's also really good for people to do because you really do need, these testimonials in order to uh, to this, and this is more for the people of the world, not really the people who run it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. There is
Hmm.
so much solidarity in these things. Like after I did force the vote town hall, this is the first time I ever said the word disabled.
Hmm.
I'm sitting there talking to Brother Cornell and like all these
Hmm.
people, and I'm sharing
Hmm.
my story, and I just had over 100 messages that night of people
Hmm.
just with love and support. And that day changed my life. It absolutely changed my life. So when you do these things and you get to hear from other people who are suffering too, it's not in a competition way. It's just like, holy shit, like someone else gets it.
Yeah.
I'm pissed someone else gets it, but I'm glad someone else gets it. And it feels so
Yeah.
good to talk to people with empathy and who actually care about the people I talk to, as far as the ones who share their testimonials. None of them say they want it for themselves. Every single person always says not me, us. Every single person, and that's how I feel too. I don't do
Yeah.
this shit for myself. I want everyone. I don't care if I don't like you. I don't care. You deserve healthcare. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter who you are, if you're an immigrant, if you're it I don't care. If you are in
Hmm.
the United States or anywhere in the world, you deserve healthcare. And I know as disabled people, a lot of times we feel like you know, uh, very much so, like we aren't seen, and like, we're kind of screaming into a void. And that's why I love this so much, because it's a chance for everyone to just say, now you're going to listen to me. Now you are going to listen to my experience.
Hmm.
And, I'm so thankful to our human rights lawyers. They are volunteer. We've been working on this for over a year. This is a
Hmm.
huge, huge process. But
Yeah.
the people, chipping in their stories and stuff, I mean, it's just been an incredible, incredible process.
Hmm.
And we still
Yeah.
are taking them. So please go to m4m4all.org and submit yours, because the more the better. Millions of people are in this situation. So keep them coming.
Yeah, there's so many of us that are going through this. And here's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. If you are able-bodied and healthy, you may not think that this is that important of an issue. But one of two things is going to happen. Either you're going to have something medical happen to you where you'll end up needing some type of medical intervention, or you're going to grow old. It's going to be one of the two things. So this behooves you. Also, in regards to, because I have forgot what I was going to say this, but in regards to actually having stories and testimonials, if you are trans and if you're literally crowdsourcing just to get yourself gender affirmation surgery, you are a victim of the healthcare system, baby. You are. Because you should not have to be paying out of pocket or raising money for your gender affirmation surgery. Oh no, we're not just going to talk about trans rights or human rights. Oh, we're going to mean that shit. Because here's the thing. If you are trans, you deserve to be able to have this gender affirming surgery without having to crowdsource for it. That's crazy. I am sick and tired of seeing trans brothers and sisters out there with, oh, can you guys contribute to my GoFundMe so I can get my top surgery? Or can you, my gender affirmation surgery, can you donate for that? We shouldn't have to do that. Again, also, we shouldn't have to see people do this for transplants. Hello, I'm a kidney dialysis patient. I'm going to have to do this when I get, eligible for a transplant. I'm going to have to do that. But we shouldn't have to. Right? And people constantly living under the threat of not having having to have these medical bills on you all the time. That's not healthy.
And the other thing about trans people that we have to consider as well is that I know in my state, I'm not certain how many states it's in, but I know in my state, you are required to go to therapy for 1 year before any doctor will even perform a surgery. So weekly for 1 year to a specialized therapist before you're convinced, that you want to do it. So not only just the surgery, you got to come up with the money to get this therapy. And I think, if there's any reason that everyone should be jumping on board to this, it's mental health. I mean, there are more suicides than ever in our history, more depression, more self-harm, more anxiety. People who are on antidepressants who have never been on them in their entire life, and when suicides don't just happen because of lack of insurance and lack of the ability to have meds and therapy, but a lot of them do. So, think about, being suicidal and not having the money to talk to someone. And people are going through this all the time. So that alone, not everybody's open about sharing that shit. So if there may be someone in your life you don't even know is having depression, self-harm, things like that, and you don't even know, but they don't have insurance. So I constantly get calls from my friends wanting me to be their therapist, and I'll do it. That's not a complaint, but I'm not a professional. I can't prescribe them anything. I can only do so much. But what else do you do? If you don't have insurance, you take what you can get. So, and also, Medicare for all, national improved Medicare for all would help things like outpatient drug rehabilitation and things. Good luck affording that. You have to be like zero income, like literally zero, to even get in one of those places. Where, then if we got Medicare for all, we could also start implementing things like all drugs should be legalized, but if people are caught with drugs, then, or any kind of, especially cannabis, but any kind of drugs, that they would just go to treatment instead of prison. Like it would open up so many more doors to helping people. And healthcare is related to every freaking topic in the world. It is related to our environment, to our prison system, to racism, to sexism. It's all about equity. We don't have equity. The only way to have equity is to have in healthcare is to have every freaking person with the same healthcare. It doesn't matter what state, doesn't matter your legal status, your income, nothing. Every single person gets that same one.
Well, wouldn't you say that's because we're all tied to one another in some intrinsic way?
I do believe that. I do. I consider myself a humanist, even though I can be a real asshole on Twitter. I do. Like people meet me in real life and they're like, "You're so sweet," and I'm like, "Thanks," but they say it's shocked. But yeah, I don't want to see anyone suffer. I don't. I mean, I just, even before I became disabled 2.5 years ago, I had insurance. I had a good job, good pay, things like that. But I wanted it for other people. That's the thing. Like, that's what a human does. Like, it shouldn't be outrageous that, like, we're fighting for others to thrive. That's the thing. A lot of us feel like we're existing. We deserve to live, to thrive, to be happy, to have fun sometimes, to not. I mean, I go to the mailbox and I have panic attacks because I know there are bills. I know there are. I just got a $343 bill yesterday for my insurance that should have covered it. And it's like, these are for eye treatments and shit. Like, I need them, but what am I going to, you know what I mean? Just add it to the pile.
Yep. And I can't tell you how many medical bills I have just sitting in the pile right now in a plastic bag. And I'm just like, y'all ain't getting shit because I ain't got it.
Well, there has been an update on the legislation. So for those who don't know, myself and Ricky Ranson and Logan, the three of us from M for M for All, Congressman Ro Khanna, he asked us to go to DC to meet with him. And we were like, okay, that's weird. Why? But I've known Ro for years. I had him on my show 4 times. So I thought, well, okay, maybe he just wants to talk to us. Maybe it's a photo op. I don't know, whatever. So we go and we meet with him for over an hour. And I brought over $15,000 worth of medical bills that I've received since I became disabled 2.5 months ago, with insurance. And he, so we were talking about this, and by the time we left, he had agreed to reach out to Bernie Sanders and work on a medical debt cancellation legislation because of our conversation. So that is actually coming to its completion. Rose said that they are finishing it up. So there will be medical debt cancellation legislation brought to the floor in the near future. And that's because 3 volunteer activists went in and held people accountable. So we have so much more power than you guys think we do. Like, they're so used to people licking their boots. If you come in and you keep it real and you're like, listen, your wife takes a whole bunch of money from Big Pharma. And that's how we started. We were like, we just went in real, and that's how we achieved it. It's about making people uncomfortable. And then we met with Rashida Tlaib. I went at her hard for her lack of support on Force the Vote. We met with her for over half an hour. We did not let up. The other day, we met with Rep. Andy Kim from New Jersey, who is a total centrist shit lib. met with him for about 45 minutes about Medicare for All. We met with Pramila Jayapal's legislative assistant, called her out, called Pramila out for 45 minutes on her, if you support Medicare for All, hit retweet, and how that's so freaking patronizing and insulting. And just, it feels so good to just go at these people. You guys have no idea. And these people, we are not constituents of any of these people. They did not have to meet with us. But when you reach out to them and you say it in a way that we're not putting up with your shit, this is how it's going to be. You said this on this date. Here's a video. And your constituents support Medicare for All. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about it. And when you say it like that, they do meet with you. We're proof. So, yeah, I mean, just think about the power you guys have, that if you just hold them accountable, tweeting at them and being like, fuck you, yeah, it feels good, but it doesn't achieve anything. They're not going to read it. So being there and actually saying, I want to meet, I have concerns, they do it.
Thank you very much for that. You know, when you get to a point where you look at how you are connected in the world and you've seen people suffer and you see that it's needless, that really affects you.
Yeah.
You know, and I just want to give attention to somebody in the chat. Ilhan R said, my brother lost his health care because he got sick and his job convinced him to quit and reapply for his job when he gets better. This is why employment should not be tied to healthcare.
Yeah.
Because once you lose your job, then what? Then what? And this is the reason why I am passionate about these things too. Because people should not be going through this. Ilhan R continues, says, my brother has stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And I'm sorry.
I hear these things all the time, and it's just so wrong. I'm so sorry, Ilhan. You're amazing. You're always watching and commenting. You're so awesome. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. You know, thank you for that, Ilhan R. My thing is, people are suffering on the altar of capitalism, and it should not be happening. So, whatever you feel that you have to do. And support the people that are also trying to achieve the same goal, just going different roads. But I, as somebody who's been disabled for 15 years now, it is not easy to have to deal with healthcare issues. And then you get the bills in the doctor's office, and you have bill collectors calling you constantly. And then they're like, well, can't you just get a family member? I'm like, no, I can't get a family member because my entire family's poor. And, that's something that I'm, it upsets me because it doesn't have to be this way. And yet people just go, oh, it is what it is. It's been that way for years. It doesn't have to be. So, yeah. Now because you're on my show, I have to
Uh-oh.
light. I have to lighten the mood because you know me. You know me,
Yeah.
Joy. And I have a couple questions that I like to ask people. First of all, I'm gonna ask you this hypothetical question. Joy, you are president of the United States, and it is your it is your inauguration day. What are the first three actions you're taking as president within your first 100 days?
Okay, so obviously national improved Medicare for all.
Of
Um
course.
surprise. Also federal job guarantee. Also
Ooh.
letting every single person in prison who is in for any kind of drugs whatsoever, especially cannabis, is A, let out, B, having their record expunged, and C, being given job opportunities.
Ooh. Ooh.
Just
All
off the
right.
top of my head, that's what I think. Yeah, I'll go with
Mm,
those.
somebody celebrate this woman and get her a stripper. Sorry.
My husband's not home from work yet.
Hey! Hi. Okay. Okay. Now, my next question is what is one food that Savage Joy cannot live without?
French fries.
Oh, yo! You know who said the same thing? Richard Medhurst said the exact same thing.
Really? Oh,
Yes, I
that's
had him
so
on Sunday.
funny.
He
That's
said he
so
cannot
funny.
live without French fries.
Oh, and we wear similar scarves. How about
Yeah.
that?
I was like, so you can't live without them freedom fries, huh?
Oh yeah, that's yeah.
Yup, yup.
Oh yeah. Give it any kind, any way, but give me some blue cheese dressing on the side, or some honey mustard, or oh
Oh,
yeah. Now I'm getting hungry.
okay, all right, cool. All right, and what is your favorite cuss word? I know you like to cuss.
Well, I mean, I say F bomb a lot, but the I I say douche canoe and twat waffle a lot. I would probably say those.
Douche canoe and twat. Oh my god, that is hilarious. I love those. I
Oh
need
my
to
god.
include those into my lexicon,
Yes,
so that
do
whenever
it.
I, oh, you know what I love, and this one I attribute to white people because this one is, I love this saying. It's great. I love when they say "No shit, Sherlock." I, I love that one. That was one of my favorites. I'm like, y'all came up with some good sayings. I'm
Oh
like,
my
that's a
god.
good
I
one.
haven't heard that in a minute.
Oh, I say it. I say it. So I love that one.
My two, if I had, if you're buried on your tombstone, and your tombstone would say the thing you say the most, it would be
Mhm,
either that's bananas or
mhm.
that's what she said, because I will find a way to say that's what she said to every single thing anyone says, and that is a promise. It is a
Oh.
guarantee. I say it at least 50 times a day. My friends hate me, but I don't care because I'm
Yo,
obsessed and it never gets old to me.
don't get me started, Joy, because I'm gonna tell you this. Okay, so
That's what she said.
I love it. Okay, so you know I'm a fan of the men's, right? I'm a
Yeah,
if y'all don't
I
know
am too.
if y'all don't know I'm gay, y'all been under a rock. Anywho, so I switch it to that's what he said because I say stuff like that. And so I've been doing that quite a bit lately. I'm just saying, you know.
We should just do a show where, like, I do That's What She Said and you do That's What He Said, and then people in the comments just say things that aren't dirty that we can make dirty.
Mm-hmm. Hey, wait. See the Change put up a bunch of fists. Why are you putting up a bunch of fists? See the Change? What do you know about fists? See the Change? Come on,
see there like that.
What are you trying to tell? Are you trying to make this stream? Look, I don't kink shame. I can't congratulate. But girl, what you trying to say? I told you, Joy. I'm gonna get you in. I'm gonna get your ass in trouble.
You act like I don't always talk like this, though. Like I have no filter. I really don't care.
I know, like, but you know what? I had to say something because you my homie, so I gotta,
Yeah, for sure. Right on.
We gotta,
Like, I'm the one girl who will always be on the air making dick jokes.
So, hey, yo, if y'all haven't subscribed for dick jokes, y'all need to subscribe.
Seriously, at least for my facial expressions, which I've heard were the best thing about my show, and my bad mouth, my filthy mouth.
Wait, have you met me, Joy? Look, I try to keep it PG as much as I possibly can, but JB can't do it, baby.
It's so difficult. It's so difficult. That's also what
oh my god. Woo, look, it is 9:14 in the evening, and the song is true. The freaks come out at night.
Freaks come out at night. Freaks come out at night. The freaks come out at night.
Yo, we're gonna have so much fun when you're on the the activist summit. We're gonna have fun.
Oh yeah, we're gonna break it down. You heard it here first. I'll be joining.
You heard it here first. Be there or be square. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years.
Yep.
Thanks to Reality Revolution is now a JB member. Clap it up for Reality Revolution. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Awesome sauce. Oh yeah, I say that too.
Oh, that one I hear. That one I'll excuse. That's fine. I'll allow it.
Sorry. Okay. I'm gonna say this. Look, because I can't say this on RBN because I try to keep it professional on RBN, but this is my channel, so fuck it. So sometimes when I see a hot guy, I want a cat call. I do. And okay, this is the gay version of what straight guys say, but okay, hear me out. Sometimes I want to look at a straight dude and be like, "Hey, sugar balls, nice sack." Oh my god! Look,
I want to turn him upside down and lick him like a lollipop.
Tag me in Twitter and be like, "Hey, sugar balls, nice sack," and then tag me on Twitter so that people like Marianne Williams, not Williams. Who the hell am I talking about? Gosh. So that people like Jill Stein will accidentally see it, and then she won't come on my channel because I said something like that. No, don't y'all be tagging me on Twitter.
Well, it's funny because Marianne and I are such close friends, and like she follows me, and I'm like, oh no, why, Marianne?
No,
like, no.
You got us with our, in our hearts with your, talking about your brother, and now you say, when I see JB, I think of chocolately salty balls. You are wrong for that. You are so wrong for that.
But so right.
Joy, stop it. Don't encourage him.
I'm the guest.
Actually, Reality, I want to, but I'll get my ass kicked if I ever do. That's why I don't do it, because you got a lot of homophobic straight dudes out there
This
that they
is
will get
true.
all up in their feelings if I ever even said, "Hey, how you doing? I would just like to take you out to dinner. I didn't know if you would like to go out with me or anything like that." If I were to approach a guy just in a respectful way, someone would kick my ass, because that's just how it is.
Even though it's a
But yeah,
compliment.
yeah, even though it's a compliment.
I take it as
Um,
a bigger compliment when women hit on me. I'm like, oh, thank you. That's
reality,
awesome.
don't you? God, these people, I love y'all, but y'all be getting my ass in trouble. Reality Revolution says, "Aren't all balls salty?" Reality, why are you?
Hopefully, if they're not sweaty, I hope not.
Oh my
Just
lord!
saying.
Wait, look, I was trying to get you in trouble, and here I am in trouble. How did that work?
Oh my
Desiree, no! Oh my God, Desiree said, what's inside is salty." Y'all are channeling your inner Rome up in here. Y'all, Desiree said, "Salty goodness." What in the hell? You, you dirty people, you. Oh my gosh.
My
What in
husband
the
just
hell?
walked in and we're talking about salty
Hi,
balls.
husband. Hey, do you got some $1 bills so we can make it rain on your husband?
Yeah, seriously. Oh my god.
Okay, I got one more question. We're gonna get serious here. Okay. Oh my. I'd say I am Lux. You just don't want to know how this conversation went. And we went from serious, very somber topic of Medicare for all to balls. I don't know how it got there, but it did.
Medicare for balls.
Look, welcome to the Jaybefaunt channel, baby. So, my last question. This is actually a very serious question, but I do want to get your perspective on this. So, you've lived a long life. You're on your deathbed, reflecting on that life. What is the one thought that you have? What was the one thought you want people to have about you?
Actually, I think about this a lot. And
Hmm. Okay.
I kind of I go back and forth between people thinking I have a good heart and people saying I made them laugh, because I think both of them are just so important.
Yeah. You know what? You did a good job of doing that tonight. Yeah. Yeah. And like Reality Revolution says, balls need Medicare too.
That's the damn truth. We're talking about Medicare for all, as in all your money, all
Medicare
of
for
it.
Medicare for balls.
Medicare for balls, baby.
Why not?
Testicular Medicare.
Why? Why do y'all even watch me? There's 29 of y'all watching right now. Why
Okay,
the hell?
you're instigating, so I take no responsibility for any of it. So
You're getting 50% of responsibility. It's 2022. We're all about equality up in
all
this
right,
bitch.
it's about
You
equality.
are also
All
getting
right.
responsibility. You are getting half the responsibility, 50%. We're splitting this like a check. All right.
Oh, you have a
God,
great audience.
me enjoy talking about balls on a stream.
This would be a hilarious stream to cut in clips. Like, wait, that's really from the same date. Those clips are not from the same date. No, they're not. Well, they're wearing the same clothes and it has the same date. No, that can't be.
No, they can't. These people, they're deviants. What in the hell is going on with these people? Man, activists be some freaks,
Sexual
let me tell you.
deviance support humanity.
Are y'all having fun?
Also love humanity.
Are y'all having fun in the chat? Because I am having fun. This was the point. We wanted to talk about something serious, something that was pressing for everybody to be able to jump on board with. But at the same time, also have fun, because fun is joy is revolutionary. So, of all of you who actually have some pressing stories about Medicare for all, about having, healthcare nightmare stories about our healthcare system, make sure to go to the site m4all.org, and then go and, submit your stories about what you've been through, right? And so once you do that, because there's a submit your story tab right here, right, as you guys can see, and just let people know what's going on. You know, of course, we're joking and we're having fun, but at the same time, this is also to keep ourselves going, right? There's the phrase goes, I have to laugh to keep myself from crying. And that's what we do, so that we can keep on going. Because if we stop, then the fight is over. And the people who we don't want to win, they win. The oligarchs win. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So that's
I think
something that
we
I
have
want to.
that good balance: perversion, humor, and heart.
That's what he said. I got you.
Oh my
So,
God.
what's coming up, Joy? What you got coming up, homie?
Tomorrow I have the gentleman on, Jose. He is the one. He's coming on 9 p.m. Eastern on my channel, Savage Joy Marie Man. That's YouTube and Rockvin. He is the gentleman that just protested Jamal Bowman and screamed at him how he was funding Nazis in the middle of a town hall. And then I asked him to come on, and he's like, "Oh yeah, well I have also got some video of me doing it to Kamala and these other people." And I'm like, "Oh my God." So yay to that, more of that.
Nice.
And then Mondays I have a show with my comrade Andrew on Real Progress in Action, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, and that's postmortem breakdown. We go through the week's news and talk about the week's news, but also have fun in between each story. But we focus on a lot of stuff that other people aren't talking about. A lot of activism, a lot of union. So yeah, and then I always have guests on as well.
Awesome. And just to let you guys know, all the links to her Twitter, her channel, excuse me, and as well as the March for Medicare for All link is also in the description below. Joy, it's such a joy to have you.
Thank you so much. I always have so much fun, and I just adore you. And please support, smash that like button, smash subscribe, and please share JB's pinned post on Twitter. And even if you can't donate to things like that and mutual aids, just please share it. Just share it with the hashtag mutual aid or urgent or something like that, because even sharing it really helps a lot.
True. Thank you so much. Savage Joy Marie, my friend, my buddy, my pal. So good to see you as always. Everybody who's in the chat, look, y'all some bad mojos. I'm telling y'all. I'm gonna tell all y'all parents. I'm gonna tell y'all mommies and daddies on what y'all been saying in the chat. I got all your names.
I'm screenshotting everyone.
Yep. I'm gonna tell your mama. Watch. I got to put the neck action in with it too. You know what I'm saying?
Well, thank you so much, right? And thank you guys for watching. You guys are freaking awesome.
They are. They really, really are. Look, I'm gonna sign out. I just want to. Damn, Desiree, hit me with that. She said I'm an orphan, gonna have to dig him up. Laugh out loud, girl. What? Desiree, you getting me in trouble once again. Sweary best. Hang on. Sweary Fairy said, "How you think we got this way, bestie?" Are you blaming this on me? That's it. We're done. We're getting out of here. Look, water your plants, water yourself. Leave the world better than you found it. Smoke them if you got them. And if you ain't got them, laugh because joy is revolutionary, like I always say. And I got one thing to tell y'all. Hey, sugar balls, nice sack. Yeah. Sugar balls.